Hello, I'm John Thorne from Thorny Motorsport, and this video may well help every owner of a McLaren to try and keep some of their service costs down and also avoid some problems when going in with dealers. Want to know how we've done it? Keep watching. Hello, welcome back. This is one of those little videos that we hope that people will share because we think it will help both owners of cars, dealers and McLaren themselves. There's nothing wrong with a video that helps other people. Over the last 4 or 5 years, it is fair to say that we have seen cars come into here that have recently been worked on or serviced by dealerships where things we think have been missed. Now, I'm not going to get into the slagging off dealers, good, bad and different. They exist, we exist. There's a happy relationship there. And like all things, there are good technicians, bad technicians, good members of staff, good dealers, bad dealers. No such thing as all bad. So when we see one where it's been into a dealer and they've missed something, it's just life. You know, you'd rather it didn't happen. Happens to all cars, deal with it. But of late, the last sort of 12 months or so, we've noticed a lot of cars, I won't say a lot, 6 or 7, where they've been recently into a dealership for a service and they've come to us for other kinds of work, be it a warranty or something else we could do cheaper or more competitively, and they've had broken rear springs on the shocks. Now, a broken spring is, again, life. I wouldn't describe it as hugely common, but it is part of ownership and it is a bit wear and tear, so such is life sometimes. But when a car's been into a dealership with their big £10 million showrooms and they've had some work on the car and the dealership has missed a broken spring, we start to get initially annoyed on the behalf of the customer and then inquisitive. Why is this? You know, these people aren't idiots. They can't be that bad. You can't miss a broken spring. It's very difficult to. So we looked into it a bit further and further. And what we have discovered is that the McLaren technical information, which we have full access to here, when it does any servicing on the cars, it specifically says, and this applies to all models, by the way, 12C, 720, you name it. In the service documentation, every car has its service sheet, which the dealers follow, it seems religiously. And in that sheet, it states you must remove the under trays, of which there are 2 on all McLarens, a front and a rear. And it says remove under trays, and that exposes access to all respective coolant hoses, drain plugs, gearbox plugs, etc., all the things you expect. So hence it's in there as something the dealer should do. However, it doesn't say in any of the forms of any of the models, and we checked this, to remove the rear diffuser. Now, I can see why they don't, because frankly, sometimes they're a pain in the neck. There's lots of bolts, half rusted together. It's a good 15-20 minutes sometimes to remove one and put it back together again. And dealers, being slavish ideas to the rules, will only do what they're told to do because they only get paid to do what they're told to do. So if they're not paid to remove a diffuser, they won't do it. We're slightly different here. We're more motivated by the car. We're not looking about what service regimes we are told to go to. We go on what we needed. So as part of our procedure in inspecting a car, we always remove the diffuser, because by removing the diffuser, guess what you can see? The rear shocks. And you can see all of them, top, lower mount, all the parts behind it. And you cannot see that area when the rear diffuser is kept in place. So we've got a couple of 675s here. One's in for engine work, one's in for a broken spring. Same thing. This particular car was in a dealership only a few hundred miles ago. And it had a broken snap spring clean through bottom of the shock on the car. Now, springs can break at any time, but when you have a broken spring which is covered in corrosion, like rusted on the exposed part of the steel, it's been broken for some time, okay? When you break a spring, it rusts pretty quickly because even while the outer side is painted, it snaps clean through, that metal is unprotected, so it will rust. So it happens quite quickly. But if you've got coatings and cakings of rust on that spring, it's been broken for some time. It's not rocket science. So the fact of life is that the dealer that this car particularly went to didn't take the rear under tray off. And you can tell this by the fact the under tray bolts are all still seized. It's a pain in the neck. So I do understand why they don't remove them. Now, this isn't a video saying these are crap. What we've actually done is we've contacted McLaren. Because we now have a reasonable relationship now. We talk to each other and we recognise that they do what they do and they recognise we're not bad at what we do either. So we report this back to the respective heads of people in Woking and said, just to let you know, are you aware that your service sheets don't say remove the rear diffuser, only under trays? And they came back and went, blimey, no, I didn't realise that. That's a good point. And I showed them the video and showed bits how the springs, and they've come back and gone, blimey, tell you what, let's see if we can change that. Now, as I present this video, it hasn't changed yet, but I'm fully of the belief that McLaren, who want to look after customers and also want to look after dealerships, are going to change those notes by virtue of this video or this communication to them to basically say to all dealerships, take off the rear diffuser when you're doing a service in a car. It's not that hard to do, 18 bolts total case. It's a good thing to check, and that enables you to check the car more thoroughly and certain things like rear suspension. So this is one of the examples where dear old crappy independent like us can actually be helpful, we think, to the ownership and also to McLaren working and the dealers. So hopefully it's sort of kind of carry on a relationship we can keep pursuing. But also from an owner's perspective, when you take your car into a dealership, tell them to take the rear diffuser off. They may well try and charge a bit more. And you know what? It does take more time. So maybe it's a reasonable 50, 60 pound more, so you can get away with it. But I would say, can you please make sure you remove the rear diffuser when you take your car in for a service? And no doubt the service advisor will balk a bit, saying, you don't need to, sir. And you tell them, nah, you do. Otherwise, you can't check the lower part of the spring on the rear of the car, which is prone to breaking. All right, hopefully that's helpful. I think it might be. Please do comment and let us know. It'll be interesting to see how this information spreads around the world in terms of help for ownership, which is our primary aim in terms of McLaren's. And let us know what they say. It'll certainly be interesting to see what happens. And hopefully, if McLaren do change the service sheets, I'll let one know. All right, cheers.